In the last episode, after 36 hours of pure planning, plotting and procrastination, we have finally been forced to, at least temporarily, start playing some Factorio. And as a result, we are now the proud owner of a real 720 signs per minute mega base. Well, okay, it's only red signs, but anyway, out of all the great research parts now at our disposal, we have instead picked the dead-end technology of radar as our very first technology. So, yeah, why do we need radars this urgently? Or at all? Well, my anti-biter expansion pipe system is not quite watertight, and my paranoia is seeping through the cracks. One of the issues is that while biters can no longer expand into my base in one go if they follow the general expansion rules, some of those biters aren't all that obedient, like if you remember this guy over here. That is a medium biter, and this is a spitter nest. Medium biters do not spawn from spitter nests under any circumstances as far as I'm aware, which means this guy must somehow have migrated here. Current theory is that he was part of the biter expansion party, but the expansion process got interrupted halfway through for some reason, leaving the remainder of the biter expansion party to just join the half-built biter base, instead of turning themselves into more nests or worms. Testing the workings of my anti-biter expansion wall by setting evolution to 100% and greatly speeding up the game has become a common way to spend the dinner breaks of my streams, and so far we have had a handful of breaches over a couple dozen of simulated hours. While that doesn't sound like that many, a handful of breaches is one handful too many, given that a single new biter base in an undesirable location breaks my entire system, and I currently have no way to deal with any new biter settlement whatsoever. Turns out that if an enemy expansion party is somehow interrupted, the remaining members of the expansion party will indeed join a nearby nest. Any nearby nest. And as a nomad biter, I personally would even prefer one of the recently modernized biter bases with a new sewage pipe system and climate control installation. But that changes the status of this blocked off biter nest to become one with active biters again. And from there, it doesn't take long for the inevitable to happen. Once a green chunk nearby the reactivated biter base gets selected for an expansion, the recently relocated biters are summoned into an expansion group again, this time settling in my base, from where they'll spread through the now accessible sea of green chunks in my territory faster than you can like and subscribe to my channel. That is 100 of them. Will take 50 seconds to craft, so that's nothing at all. While we will get an audible warning from the pipe radar system if the biters attempt to expand into my base, that will merely let me know the house is already on fire and impending doom is approaching. What I need is a Big Brother program. If I've got vision on my base, the border wall area and beyond, I can potentially spot those rogue relocating biter nomads on the map, so I can go and take them out before they are resummoned and on their way to settling a nice new active biter base in my painstakingly cleared out territory. There is one tiny problem though. Radars only reveal a 7x7 chunk area, which means we will need upwards of 100 radars easily to cover the entire desired area. A single radar consumes 300 kilowatts, which means all of those radars together are gonna consume an amount of power similar to an entire OG-20 boiler power plant, which will produce an entire OG coal-fed power plant worth of pollution, and consume almost 20 coal miners worth of coal production non-stop. Fortunately, there's a neat trick you can use to create a pollution-free Big Brother radar system. You can simply place individual radars connected to a single solar panel to have full uninterrupted daytime vision. While a 300 kilowatt radar isn't all that happy running on a single 60 kilowatt solar panel, its 7x7 permanent chunk reveal area will function perfectly normal on a fifth of the power. Heck, it functions fine-ish on 1/10 of the power, as I successfully deployed the same trick on Gleba in my new player experience. We've got 30 kilowatts, that's the maximum. Okay, they do appear to be flickering on and off a bit, but in general we get the view we want. Sure, the scanning of new chunks will be incredibly slow, but hey, we've explored the entire map on foot already anyway, far beyond the radar's maximum scan range. I have used or abused the single solar panel radar trick in more playthroughs than I'm willing to admit, but for this specific one, there again is one slight problem with this trick. So, yeah, that is not gonna happen this time, is it? But we can take the spirit of that idea and just implement it in a horrible way that I definitely won't be cursing myself for later. So here we are after 4 more hours, and we have now fully finished our Big Brother radar network, except it is entirely interconnected with power poles. Unfortunately, we don't have complete coverage inside of our base due to us respecting the no-build zones in the Biter nature reserves, which keeps our lands lean and circular green. But we have full coverage of the important border area, which allows me to simply spot any rogue relocated biters threatening to infiltrate my base. Similar to the single solar panel variant, we are severely underpowering the radars, except we are doing it with centralized steam power and an uncooked spaghetti system of cables. You cannot simply tell a radar to underconsume power though, nor can you prioritize where the power plant sends power to. So how the heck is the rest of the base not struggling for power also? Well, the entire radar network is painstakingly wired up to a completely independent power network. While the base is running on the cool steam power plant from last episode, the 90 radars are running on only 4 steam engines, giving the radars barely more than 10% of the power they are requesting. And since the single solar panel radar trick just barely works on Gleba, I know I can easily expand to at least 120 radars on this 3.6 megawatt power plant. And instead of Big Brother O-Vision costing us almost 800 units of pollution a minute on full power, we are getting the same results for less than 80. Nice! During the 4 hours it has taken us to manually build the entire radar network, we have first researched steel processing in 69 minutes. Nice! I don't need underground belts to build radars. What I need is a sharpened double-bit steel axe. Steel axe is now a trigger technology, which means I don't need yet another 50,000 red science packs. All we need to do is smelt 50 steel. So, before we left, we tried to put stacks of iron in these 5 furnaces, but they won't fit or something. I cannot insert them. So, we put them in chests instead. But the inserters refused to cooperate as well. Fine then. We went off placing radars, and when steel processing finished, with us personally being far away from the base, suddenly the inserters awaken. And the furnaces now decide to accept the iron plates all by themselves. I'm telling you man, these AI integrations in every product are getting way out of hand. Anyway, not before long, Steel Axe triggers. And after 42 hours of half-speed tree chopping, rock mining, and most importantly, deconstructing 2,450 tree gun turrets at half speed, we finally unleash the power of the Steel Axe. Before researching the green logistics science pack, we do research the logistics technology itself. Okay, there we go. Logistics researched. We can finally make underground belts. Look at that, that is beautiful. The logistics tech is not a hard prerequisite for the logistics science pack, funnily enough. But after my logisticless red science ordeal, I do not even want to think about mixing and matching 7 full belts of plates between all the different intermediates and destinations without having access to splitters and undergrounds. Let's see if we can do it once more. And with the radar network in place, there is no procrastinating anymore. We gotta get on with it and start building for 900 green signs a minute. Can't believe it. I cannot believe this. Alright, that's it. We are abandoning this run. I go speed run 100%. Let's start a new career. That was 120 perfect placements in a row. What the heck? Have you seen how I play Factorio? This is... Alright, Nephrams, thanks for the guest appearance. Yeah, it was nice having you here. You can go now. We gotta get on with it and start building for 900 green signs a minute. Now, don't get all excited. That's easier said than done. First of all, we will need more power for green signs, as that will contain twice to thrice the infrastructure compared to red signs. So we first finish up building the entire power plant, which seems to be deliberately designed to have no single draggable element in it. Every single steam engine, pipe and boiler has to be carefully clicked into place one by one. But hey, at least we can finish the power plant now that we have the underground belts unlocked by logistics. Well, that was the easy part. Now we gotta mine 7 belts of ore for green signs, but even before that, we need some serious coal patch for our power plant. Our starter patch has all but run out, except for the 2 coal miners that are dedicated to running the radar power network. And our secondary coal patch, while having over 300k coal remaining, simply is too tiny to fit enough mining drills for our needs. This is exactly why we fought that first very hard battle in episode 1, which hopefully grants us unlimited access to this giant 10 million coal patch. Well worth it. Except... he's going the other way. Looks like Playing Mike found this tiny lakeside coal patch, which surprisingly fits 21 miners. That's still not enough though, so we connect another patch northeast which has twice the coal and fits twice the miners. Which means we can theoretically bring home 2 compressed yellow belts of coal. It might still not be enough coal for full-on green signs, but it will solve the immediate brownout threat as our home coal patch runs out, and keep the base from brownouting during the long process of creating everything required for green signs. If the pollution from this coal patch doesn't reach the nearby biters, that is. The reason we ignored the big 10 million coal patch for now is that I don't know how to bring it into the base yet without disturbing the southern green chunks. While we could simply build in the northern coal through the existing red chunk corridor we decided on earlier, and which we already used to power the radar network. We bring the 2 northern coal belts home through our base and merge them with our home coal patch before redistributing out all the coal from there, prioritizing our home patch so we can deconstruct those miners as soon as possible and reutilize that valuable space for something more important in the future. You know, unless playing Mike gets all nostalgic and that, but come on, who gets attached to a former coal mine? He got attached to a former coal mine, didn't he? Anyway, we need to hurry up with those green science mines, as Playing Mike has run out of real techs to research and is blatantly wasting resources on useless techs like Physical Damage Upgrade 1. What the heck, Mike? Anyway, let's take a closer look at the requirements for green science. Next time.